Hey everyone, welcome back to MNMM PTE NAATI. This is Manmohit. Now guys, in today's video, I am continuing the series for the short series that we have started for different topics of the PTE exam, the most important topics out there. And in today's video, I am going to discuss with you all about the Retell lecture topic of the PTE exam. The speaking topic of your exam, very important if you are aiming for at least 65 or 79 or even a perfect 90. And even if you're aiming for 50 out of 90, which is 6 each in IELTS, it is still going to be important. If you understand these tips and strategies that I'm going to share with you, I will be playing an audio as well where you would be taking notes. I would be giving you what things to keep in mind, what things to not, how to use the phrases or the notes that we would be taking in the template that we have got. All these things would be covered. Now, just before we proceed, if you need any sort of help or support with your PTE or the NAATI exam, Hindi, Punjabi or Gujarati, we do have the coaching, prediction file, consultations, all these things available. If you need to discuss that, you can get in touch with us on either Instagram or Facebook. Just search for M&M PTE NAATI, or there are links in the description. Click on them and we can have a discussion about the same. Now, let's have a look at the Retell lecture. First thing first, we have to understand just a bit of basics about this Retell lecture topic, that in the exam, when they made these changes, they made the exam shorter. Now we only get 1 to 2 questions for the Retell lecture. So we have to be very careful because it's only going to be one audio being played or maximum 2 audios. And we have to make sure we do get score in them, because you don't get so many tries to get it right. In terms of scoring, it's a listening and a speaking task. You do get marks in listening because you will be listening to an audio. Plus you also get marks in speaking because you will be delivering your answer in the speaking format. In terms of the scoring, it's approximately 5 to 10 marks in your listening, and again 5 to 10 marks in the speaking. So it's not really a high scoring topic, but still 5 to 10 marks, especially people who are aiming for 65 or 79. It will be a game changer. So we can't really take this for granted. Extremely important topic. Looking at few tips for the Retell lecture topic, the very first what I've said is, now when we take notes for Retell lecture, because you will be listening to an audio and then you would be taking notes while the audio is being played, and afterwards you have to speak your answer. Note taking is one of the major component when you do your Retell lecture. What happens in that is, when you listen to an audio, there's 3 ways of taking notes. One is taking keywords. Keywords means single words. One is taking phrases. Phrases means group of words that come together. And third is sentence, as in the complete sentence. Now, sentences being the most difficult way of taking notes, because you have to write down the complete sentence. We do not recommend the sentences. Not that it is not a perfect way, but it is not really an ideal way. Keywords we also do not recommend. If you're aiming for 50 or below, you may go and looking and taking keywords, but keywords is again something we do not recommend if you're aiming for 65 or 79. What we do recommend is taking phrases. Phrases as in group of certain words. If they said a sentence in the audio, today is a bright sunny day in Adelaide, group of word means today is a bright. So 4 words coming together. Or day in Adelaide, 3 words coming together. Now, in order for you to get a good score, which is 65 or 79, we recommend to have at least 3 words in a row, at least 3 words in a row. So if a sentence is today is a bright sunny day in Adelaide, pick any 3 words. It does not matter. It does not matter grammatically. It does not matter if it makes sense or not. What matters is, are those 3 words coming together or not? So I can even pick the very first 3 words, there is a, or I can even pick the last 3 words, day in Adelaide, or I can even say bright sunny day. Anything and everything is a phrase as long as the words are coming together, and that is what we're going to aim for, to take the phrases and not the sentences and not the keywords. Another thing is taking organized notes. I've seen many students, what they do is, when they take notes, they take all the notes in a list. Like they just take a phrase, they'll put a comma, they'll take another phrase, they'll put a comma, and so on. This is not what I recommend. Make sure, the way we always teach is, make a plus sign in between your notebook. Even in the exam, you would be getting those erasable notebooks. So this is what you do. You take your page, you take your marker or your pen, you divide that page into 4 parts by making a cross or a plus sign. And then you will have 4 separate quadrants over there, 4 separate boxes. And you take notes in phrases in those 4 separate quadrants, those 4 separate boxes. And when you speak out your answer, you will have your template, 4 sentences already memorized. You use your template. You take the phrases from each box and you combine those phrases with the sentence of a template and speak it out in form of a sentence. So this is what you have to do, and that's the meaning of taking organized notes. Next is speaking with natural speed and volume. Do not hesitate. What that means is do not increase your speed too much. You don't have to sound like a bullet train in order to get a full score. This is not what this exam is all about. You just have to speak at your natural speed. Whatever your natural speed is, you speak at that. As long as it's loud and clear to the computer, this is all what matters. Computer is not first about how quickly you speak. What they want to see is, are you fluent or not? Fluent means flow, not speed. I'm not saying speak very slow, but then again, you don't have to sound like a very super train. You just speak it at your natural speed. Same goes with the volume. You don't have to scream at the top of your voice, or you don't have to whisper. You are wearing the headphones in the exam with the microphone right next to your mouth, so you just speak at your normal volume. Think of computer as your friend. That's the easier way to understand. Think that the computer that is in front of you is your friend. So the way you will speak to your friend who is right in front of you is the exact same volume you would be speaking in the real exam. Keep this thing in mind as well. Next is focus on fluency and pronunciation, like I just said, not the grammar part. Retell lecture is one such topic where grammar does not matter. So do not bother about combining the phrases with connectors and making a sensible sentence out of it. That is not required. You just speak the way you have written your phrases. You have just written your notes. You don't have to combine them, but just focus on how fluently you speak, how good of a flow you have, how clearly you pronounce all the words. The clarity of the words is very important. Fluency and pronunciation alongside good amount of phrases will get you a full score in your Retell lecture topic. Last but not the least, take a pause after every sentence, not after every phrase. So let's say you have taken 4 phrases for one sentence. When you speak out your sentence, you don't have to take a pause after every single phrase. What you do is you take a pause after you complete a sentence. Let's say out of the audio, I've taken 4 phrases, right? Phrase 1, phrase 2, phrase 3, and phrase 4. When I speak my sentence, I will not be speaking like this. The lecture is talking about phrase 1, phrase 2, phrase 3, and phrase 4. That is wrong. What I would do is, the lecture is talking about phrase 1, phrase 2, phrase 3, phrase 4. And then I take a pause and then I start with my next sentence. The lecture is also talking about phrase 3, phrase 4, phrase 5, phrase 6. Pause. The lecture also emphasized on phrase 7, phrase 8, phrase 9, phrase 10. Pause. And the last sentence. So whatever template you guys are using, just use that. But make sure when you're combining the phrases, you're not putting any connectors. Plus, you're not taking any pause. You just speak it out in the form of a sentence without making any sense, without any grammar. That's perfectly fine. But just speak all of them together. So these were a few of the tips that I wanted to share. Now, one more thing, how many phrases should we be taking? At least 10. At least 10 phrases need to be taken, and each phrase having at least 3 words in there. That is a perfect amount of content to get 79 or above. Even if you're aiming for 65, aim for at least 10 phrases with 3 words in each phrase, just so that even if you need 65, you're aiming for 79. You're not just aiming for 65. So these were a few of the tips that I wanted to share. Now what I'll do is I'll play an audio. I want you to take notes just so that you guys can practice as well. And once that audio finishes, what I'll do is I'll show you the phrases that I have taken, and then I'll show you how to use those phrases in the template that we provide to form your complete perfect Retell lecture answer. Playing the audio now.
As Emerson once put it, in the minds of geniuses, we find once more our own neglected thoughts. It's almost certain that people who have devoted themselves to self-honesty and self-observation have an above-average chance of meeting with incomprehension, irritation, censorship, or boredom when they attempt to share the data from their own minds, frankly, in company. Their thoughts, it might be on politics or architecture, family life or sexuality, will sound more threatening, more intense, oblique, or tender than is allowed. That feels lonely if one's in the mood to frame things like this. There are simply fewer people at large committed to self-honesty and self-observation, and therefore up for exchanging notes on what it's truly like to be alive. Yet there is one resource that is exceptionally well suited to addressing the feelings of disconnection liable to be felt by the emotionally intelligent: art. Works of art are humanity's secret diary, records of all that could not be said in regular social contexts, but which have found a home in the more intimate, honest communication that can take place between an artwork and its audience.
So this was the audio. I hope you have taken your phrases over here. Now, these are the phrases that I have jotted down from that particular audio that was being played. Now, if you count how many phrases I've written, I've got 6. So I've got 7 and 7. I've got 14 phrases in total. Why? Because the audio was slightly longer. If you have taken anything less than that, that's absolutely fine. Right now, we are all learning. What I've done is I've taken 14 phrases. If you look at every single phrase, it has got at least 3 words in that. And in some phrases, if you look at them, I've even got 4 words. If you look at a phrase where I've written fewer people at large. Now, even though I've written a single and a simple small word, which is at, that is still counted as one word. And how many words I've written in one phrase? I've written 4. And in most of the phrases, I've written 3 words in one phrase. And then I've written 14 different phrases. Like I said, at least 10 phrases need to be there. The more, the better. So I've written 14. Okay. Now, if you look at these phrases, they are from different places in the audio. If I speak those 2 or 3 or 4 phrases together, will they make sense? Absolutely not. If I say own neglected thoughts, who have devoted, have an above average when they attempt. If I speak these 3 or 4 phrases together, do they make any sense? No, they do not. But this is what Pearson wants from you. They don't want to see how good of a sentence you have spoken. They just want to see, are you speaking exactly the same thing that was said in the audio or not? Or are you adding any words from your side? It's a computer, it's a software, it's a speech recognition software. They're just going to look at how many phrases you have got down, how many words have you written down, and are the words exactly in the same sequence as they were in the actual audio. So this is how you would be taking some good phrases. Right now, even if you're getting 7 or 8 phrases, that's absolutely fine. It is all about practice. The more audios you practice every day, the better you will become in Retell Lecture, the better you will become in taking notes. And note taking will not just help you in Retell Lecture, it will also help you in your summarized spoken text. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the template. I'll put the link of the template in the description as well. You can download that. And using that template, using these phrases, how will I combine my sentences, and then I'll speak out the sample answer as well, just to give you a bit of an idea how would I speak my Retell Lecture in the real exam. So if you have a look now, I've written it down into 4 separate sentences. Obviously in the exam, you're not going to write all this stuff down. You would be doing it on the spot by memorizing the template and having your phrases in front of you with the notebook that you have taken the notes on, and then you would be combining that. So what I've done is in my first sentence, I've only written down one phrase. The lecture is talking about own neglected thoughts. That's it. In the first sentence, you just need one phrase. In the second one, what I've done is it also denotes who have devoted, have an above average when they attempt their thoughts will. So what I did was I just took the 4 phrases in a row and I just spoke them all together without any pause in them. I just spoke them out in form of a sentence. Next, in addition to that, that feels lonely, fewer peoples at large, to be alive, suited to address. And my 4th sentence, to conclude this lecture, regular social contexts in the more intimate that can take place and its audience. So this is what I've done. I've taken 4 phrases in one sentence, spoken the sentence in sequence, take a pause after every sentence, and job done. Now what I'll do is I'll speak out all these 4 sentences in a sequence just to give you a bit of an idea how would you be speaking in the real exam in order for you to get a full score. The lecture is talking about own neglected thoughts. It also denotes who have devoted, have an above average when they attempt their thoughts will. In addition to that, that feels lonely, fewer people at large, to be alive, suited to address. To conclude this lecture, regular social contexts in the more intimate that can take place and its audience. That's it. That is all what you need to do in order to get a full score. I roughly spoke for about 20 seconds, and that is like the time frame that we recommend, at least 20 seconds or more, depending on how many phrases you have got. As long as you follow the template, as long as you have got your phrases right, you've memorized the template, you do not take any pauses between a sentence, you take a pause at the end of every sentence, that's very important, and you should be all good. I hope this video was helpful. We would still be making few short series of different topics that we have planned every single week. So if you haven't already, you can consider subscribing just so that when those videos are up, you do get notified about them. And if you have got any sort of questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. And if you need any sort of help and support for your PTE preparation or for your NAATI, Hindi, Punjabi or Gujarati, we are available there on Instagram or Facebook. Just search for PTE NAATI, that's the channel's name. And the links are also there in the description. Also, the link for the template would be there in the description, so you can download that and you can reach out us on Instagram or Facebook. And if you have got an exams coming soon, I wish you all the very best. Stay safe wherever you are, and I'll see you all in the next video.